You're watching the Eternal Tournament Series.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Eternal Tournament Series. We are bringing you the final match here of the top 8. This is Season 1, Week 5. I am Gabe, also known as Calimdir. And joining me in the booth to break down this exciting final match is Sir Rhino.
Yeah, thank you. We made it. We are in the finals, and we've got a doozy of a matchup here. Some base Rakano decks, right? Kang Breath on Charge Rod up against Lord Foz, who we just saw last round on Rakano aggro slash mid range, right? So both decks featuring 4 Whirling Duo, 4 Soulfire Drake, and that's where the similarities end.
Yeah, I may have mumbled into the wind that these decks were similar. This is not the case. One of them has 4 harsh rules. One of them does not. Those are
Yeah.
very different strategies.
Yeah,
However,
so
they do have a lot of the same good matchups, which is why we see both of them here in the finals.
Yeah, we've talked about how charge units are good in this metagame right now with all the slow speed removal, and it's hard to get more charge units than what's in Charge Rod. It's kind of the point. There's different ways to approach Charge Rod, but this has generally been the most successful kind where you're really approaching it as a mid-range deck, but you're really a combo deck, right? Harsh Rule is in there, Rise to the Challenge to help find copies of Divining Rod, and playing lower quality threats like Iceberg Frontrunner just to help the consistency of turn 7, play a unit, put Divining Rod on it, explode all over your opponent's. That's what this deck is trying to do. It can play a kind of fair game in the meantime. It's most of its early game is just fixing its crazy influence requirements, and if it gets to the mid game, it is favored over every other deck out there. The question in this matchup is, will it be able to do that?
Yeah, that's I think that this deck is the bigger Rakano deck that we're seeing here is just slow enough that we'll get to see Divining Rod do its thing in at least a couple games. I'm not sure who actually has the advantage. I think I am not particularly familiar with the Charge Rod matchups in general, but we have seen a Charge Rod get to the top 8 undefeated 2 weeks in a row now. Last week, lost in the quarters, but here, Kang Breath has come back to make it all the way to the finals after playing Rakano last week.
Yeah,
2 weeks ago.
So we'll give these players a go ahead. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the thing with this Charge Rod deck is you can never, ever count it out. It can look like it is dead on board and just hit you for 30 out of nowhere.
Yeah, or just Caleb just comes down, gives everything Aegis and lifesteal, and just like, all right, cool.
Oh, yeah. Or Caleb comes down on an empty board, gives himself a Divining Rod at random, and fills up your board anyway and finds the second Caleb. And like, it just can do the dumbest things out of nowhere. And
I mean,
this is a perfect
combo.
hand. Yeah, this hand does not get any better for Kang Breath. Good fixing, Harsh Rule, and Divining Rod plus Alluring Ember. You're going to take that every time.
Yeah, so while players are just taking their first couple turns here, we're going to see Tingo Overseer come down for Lord Foz almost certainly on turn 2. So the Divining Rod deck, the Charge Rod deck, from my understanding, has been around for quite some time, but it didn't really get the traction it needed until Whirling Duo came out.
Yeah, Whirling Duo was the missing piece. Before this deck had trouble figuring out exactly what to do in the early game. Some versions played Desert Marshal or Combre Healer, which are notably in the sideboard of this deck, or Torches, but then you're diluting your target pool. Yeah, and you know, you're playing for Dio. I was playing at one point Centaur Outrider in the deck, just because I was that desperate. And yeah, Whirling Duo was just brought the whole thing together as we see it bring down Kang Breath here to 20 health.
Yeah, and Kang Breath just might even cast his Rise to the Challenge, take another turn off, and then go to Harsh Rule on turn 5 here, right on time. And Lord Foz not getting the Aegis heavy draw that he wanted that was super successful in the last couple rounds.
Yeah, no protects in sight for Lord Foz yet, so we'll have some decisions to make on this next turn about does he want to commit an extra unit into the possibility of a Harsh Rule here. Kang Breath, in the meantime, rising for something. Doesn't need to get a Divining Rod and doesn't need to get a cheap charge threat, and opts to get Heart of the Vault, which is castable with 1 extra power. There was a chance that we saw Whirling Duo be the grab just to help with his life total against an aggro deck, but opting for the big meaty value card instead.
Yeah, and so really needs to draw, get up to 7 power here. Not much to do until then. Like, Heart of the Vault, not castable. Front Runner, just not a card worth wasting, and same for Alluring Ember.
So here we see Unseen Commando comes down, Lord Foz saying, if you have Harsh Rule, you have Harsh Rule. I'm going to get in for at least 1 extra damage. And draws a Whirling Duo as the follow-up. We'll see if that comes down over Crimson Firemaw here. I think we'll see the slower, stronger threat.
Yeah, I like Firemaw because Whirling Duo is something I'd like to play right after a second removal spell even. So, but there's 7 power now for Kang Breath in hand. So potentially next turn we're going to see Divining Rod come down and could even end the game right there, but not super likely.
Yeah, not super likely with Lord Foz at 32. This Divining Rod's going to have some wild hits considering Kang Breath is down to 4. So this is going to put that card to the test. There's a Heart of the Vault on top of the deck, so you actually do get that off of Divining Rod on Alluring Ember because it has Warp. Warp is a skill that Divining Rod cares about.
Oh, wow. Okay. I did not know that.
Yep. So, but it doesn't look like it's going to hit anything else.
All right. And I think...
Whirling Duo, let him gain 3.
Yeah.
Getting a banner, but that's
enough to live at 1, right?
Yeah, I guess, because then you block 4 of the 10 damage. Yeah, you'll live at 1 here. So that's
right where he wants to be, really.
Yeah, nope.
Oh, looks like he's living at dead.
Yeah.
Did I say that right? Does that sound? Oh, never mind.
You're dead. So dead with the Heart of the Vault in hand, where if he had gotten something like that Whirling Duo I mentioned, maybe this game would have out differently, but ultimately, this Charge Rod deck, as it's built, no Vanquish main deck, no Torch main deck, no Desert Marshal main deck, no Valkyrie Enforcer main deck. They're all on the side. Your interaction is Harsh Rule, and it's got to be good enough, and if it's not, that happens.
But notably, we did see Kang Breath able to get off the combo that game. Like, the Rakano deck leaves enough breathing room for the Charge Rod deck to get going. So this could very easily go in Kang Breath's favor as we move into game 2 here.
Especially if the Rakano player stumbles at all. Or the real MVP of this Charge Rod deck can be Secret Pages, where if you can accelerate the combo out a turn early, your opponent just like hit by haymakers.
So as we get into this second match here, players are underway at Mulligan's. You mentioned playing Centaur Outrider in an old version of this. Did you mean Sensari Brigand or Outlands Brute? Because Centaur Outrider, okay.
Yeah,
that
makes
one.
Way
more sense.
Outlands Brute. Whatever not the 5/2, the 2/5. It was not a good Centaur.
Yeah.
It wasn't quite as bad as a 5/2, no tax.
That's what I thought. I figured you'd want a charge unit in your Charge Rod deck.
Yeah, that one. I got my bad Centaurs mixed up.
Aren't you the draft guy? Aren't you supposed to know every single card name and never make a single mistake ever?
Oh, yeah. I make 0 mistakes, yes.
Yeah.
No, not a person.
Not like me, who says that these 2 decks are exactly the same.
Yeah, all right. So find the way the draw here for Kang Breath is going to be a slow roller, but it does help with the influence issues that are going. Help try and get this Harsh Rule out on top. Really what's important here.
Yeah, the find away is going to help a lot, like you said. Getting second justice here and having undepleted power all the way up to 4 is pretty good, and potentially
I expect Amber Acolyte to get a Justice Sigil and then play the depleted Justice Sigil, and that gives you the option of Harsh Ruling next turn.
Yeah, that's the only way that he's going to be able to Harsh Roll on 5 here, which he's probably going to have to do. I don't love Soulfire Drake. The real power in Charge Rod is when you get a Soulfire Drake active or Diogo active before you use Divining Rod, because that's where you get most of the hits. But
all right,
I don't know.
Chump comes out. Damage. That'll tip Lord Foz off to Harsh Rule's probably coming here. Although it's not like Amber Acolyte was ever going to double block anything.
Yeah.
And we see the Champion of Glory. So Kang Breath has the option of either slamming Harsh Rule or slamming Whirling Duo. That is still an option here. Like you just Find the Way plus Seat. Or Soulfire Drake. Is that what you're gonna say?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I might be inclined to play Soulfire Drake and Chump Block, but probably not a good idea. And he goes for the Harsh Rule, forces out this Protect, saves one of his units, but still, 3 for 1.
Yeah, like I think there was an argument for Whirling Duo plus Seat plus Find the Way that turn.
Yes.
Like just to make the rest of your hand function a bit better because right now these seats
Yeah.
are depleted.
Yeah, and
but
he would have been able to play Heart of the Ball here.
yeah, now Heart of the Vault wasn't killing anything, but it could have maybe led to something busted. Now
Or just
you
blocked.
Yeah, now you can still Find the Way plus Whirling Duo if you want to here and play Front Runner as like a chump block. Or you can do the Soulfire Drake line that you were talking about.
Yeah, I don't mind either of those.
I like
all right,
this.
so here's Find the Way.
Although you still can't Acaria next turn unless you draw like Justice or
Yeah, so getting the lifesteal down means that it is something that Lord Foz probably will have to deal with. So I do like once you've gotten the Harsh Rule out of your hand, playing that Whirling Duo.
Yep. Yeah, we'll just see Front Runner Chump Block. It means you're gonna have less targets for a potential Divining Rod because
Or for Caleb if it comes down.
There's the torch. So yeah, Kang Breath's still on 0 units here. Nothing dies the Heart of the Vault, but there is the seat, and that means Acaria can come out here.
Yeah, so definitely not over for Kang Breath here. And gonna play Haymaker after Haymaker here.
But he draws a Vanquish. Can't double Vanquish, but can go double Unseen Commando, which means Acaria cannot block these Champions of Glory.
I mean, it can, but not gonna be happy about it. Let me tell you.
And I don't think you have more outs if you don't chump block here, but I could be wrong.
Agree. I agree.
Well, let's see. If you chump block and draw Harsh Rule, then you're not in torch range. Where if you don't chump block, Harsh Rule, you're only out is what you've got to ask yourself here. Or do you want to go some crazy outs with Caleb?
Yeah, Caleb or Divining Rod or Alluring Embers or something. I don't know. Warping in things.
And looks like Kang Breath's like, no, my most realistic out here is to Harsh Rule, but no, Soulfire Drake doesn't do it.
It's a big Soulfire Drake though.
Something off Heart of the Vault, but no, it's not going to be cheap.
Nope. And that's going to be 2 games going for Lord Foz here.
Taking no prisoners. 3-0 the last match, up 2-0 here in the finals. Will Kang Breath post-board be able to pull off the reverse sweep?
Yeah, and this is really cool to see. Nobody else was playing a big Rakano deck this weekend. I don't know that anybody has brought... I mean, people have brought Jack Rakano and things like that, played Fire Maw and Obliterate in Rakano before, but not...
Which Jack, though?
Yeah, which Jack? not the good Jack.
Not the Rakano Jack?
No, they've... Oh, all right. Them's fighting words. I like both Jacks personally.
I was playing big Rakano the other day, where it was big in that it was playing Great Kiln Titan.
Ooh, that is very large. That is.
Yeah, I kept killing my opponents before I could cast it.
That is definitely
here we go in the sideboard. Is Torch going to come in for Kang Breath? Because I think it is.
I hope so. I hope so. So let's take a look at Kang's Breath sideboard. Got 4 Torches, 3 Desert Marshals, 2 Vanquish, 3 Combre Healers, and 3 Valkyrie Enforcers. I like all of those things.
Yeah,
I like
the
every
question
card.
is if you're bringing all those in, does Harsh Rule go away? Like you have to be careful with how you sideboard Divining Rod decks because that ratio in a nice.
Yeah.
So it's hard for you to add too many non-hits. If you're cutting other units for units, generally Heart of the Vault's the one to go, especially in this aggro kind of matchup.
Yeah, I think
it's not killing a whole lot of things. It's just kind of this big value card, but that doesn't matter if there's a bunch of flyers killing you.
I think you could cut some amount of Diogos, some amount of front runners, and potentially some amount of secret pages, which is, I think, a bit slow here.
I think secret pages is too important to the power base to cut. I think Heart of the Vault and Harsh Rule are what you're looking to cut if you're adding in removal. Like, it's hard to keep Harsh Rule and bring in more non-hits. It's a hard balance to hit.
Right. Well, I don't know. I like Harsh Rule, and I I don't want to. I'm not saying take out a ton of things, but front runner to me looks like the weakest thing. It's mostly there just to get
It's like, yeah, it's a
that
combo
turn one
card.
thing. And then Diogo, I don't think you need all three. You know.
I don't think I would start shaving Diogos before Heart of the Vault.
Okay,
Like
that's fair.
just because he's cheaper. Like I know he's not blocking a ton of things with much relevance, but he's still a, and also then your power becomes a bit easier. Heart of the Vault's the only thing that costs triple time in your deck.
Right.
So it's kind of more of a luxury where against other mid-range things, it just this matchup we saw he cast it and died a bunch.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think you
think you're going to
definitely.
cut all of them, but I think that
Yeah, you're
on
probably
the
right in
other
that you
end,
wanna take out or lower the curve. But yeah, on the other end, how do you feel about Groundbreaker here?
I don't think that's going to come in. It's just so hard on the power base. It's not quite the. Although looking at Lord Foz right now as he's sideboarding, some number of Flamestokers are coming in. That's a card that you bring in
Flamestoker. Oh boy. Okay.
against Harsh Rule decks. This is a Harsh Rule deck at
Yep.
some level. Looks like those are coming in over Deep Forge plates, which look to be coming.
Yeah. Okay. I can support
Flamestoker
that.
looks a little slow in this matchup, though. Like
Flamestoker is very slow in this matchup, but there's not a lot of good blocks available for Infernuses on
sure,
Kangbreath's side.
yeah. The thing with Charge Rod though is you're really just trying to kill it as fast as possible because, and I don't know if Flamestoker's helping with that plan, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Once Charge Rod gets its board, it's taking over, and you're really trying to kill it before it can do that. And I think Flamestoker helps with that game. You're not against a traditional control deck. You're against a combo kill deck.
So Kangbreath throws away a kind of awkward hand and draws into another awkward hand here. Only 2 power and no justice influence. So we definitely see the harsh, at least some amount of harsh roll still in, and Combre Healer and Valkyrie Enforcer in.
Yeah, I like keeping in the harsh rule in this match. I think it would have been a little
Yeah.
crazy to take out. It's just tough to find the right balance. I think it's still
Yeah,
your best removal spell that you have access to here.
Yeah, and you're probably correct about Heart of the Vault being the first cut. So
yeah,
as
this
they
is
get
awkward.
underway here, Lord Foz having a reasonable curve here, being able to play Unseen Commando or Valkyrie Enforcer and then Fire Maw the following turn.
Yeah, the only other power in hand is depleted, but that's still a lot better than the power situation on Kangbreath's end. He needs to find the way to get out of this mess. Seek is half of what the doctor ordered. It's certainly better than most draws here.
Yeah, and that's going to enable Combre Healer next turn. Still needs to find more power and that second justice source, crucially.
But in the meantime,
two
at
torches
least can
is, I think a few too many torches here for Lord Foz. Torches still fine in the matchup. It's not really what I'm saying. More that this is too many in his hand right now.
Well, 2 torches is the perfect number for Kangbreath in this game so far.
Yeah.
But won't have an answer to this Crimson Fire Maul just yet unless he also top decks a Vanquish here. Nope.
Right,
and there's Heart of the Vault on top. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
He may have taken out some. I don't know if he took out enough.
Yeah, clearly not enough. Yeah, so this activation from Crimson Fire Maw could be a big deal for Lord Foz, especially if he doesn't draw much more power for the rest of this game.
Oh yeah, it'll make it much easier to hold up this protect as well. Kangbreath is looking to be in trouble again here.
Yeah, this could be a very quick 3-0 for Lord Foz. After Kangbreath being almost undefeated, or being undefeated in matches all the way up to this point, even going 7-0 in the Swiss.
Yeah, but it's not over yet. It's just not looking good. There's another Seek. All right, that's a justice source. You can even silence the Fire Maul, or at least attempt to silence the Fire.
And have a flying blocker for all of 2 seconds.
Yeah, or a double blocker, but Torch is gonna take care of. But still, protect out of hand makes his harsh rule a little bit better.
I mean, that Valkyrie Enforcer was worth 2 cards. So, if Kangbreath gets to live long enough for a card count to matter.
Yeah, Kangbreath's down to 13, and Lord Foz has 12 points of burn in hand.
Well,
and can't cast Harsh Rule this turn.
Yep.
That's we're
It
looking
should.
like Lord Foz has the win if he decides to point all the burn at face here. And considering Kang Breath is tapped out, I think that's pretty likely.
Yeah, and there's the first torch, second torch, and Obliterate plus Crimson Fire Mod is going to seal this game up. We're going to have your weekly champion here, Lord Foz, going 3-0 over Kang Breath here in the finals. That's going to give him an invite to the Season 1 Invitational. And Kang Breath going to get some nice points for himself as well, having gotten top 8 last week and top 2 here.
Yeah, I mean, Charge Rod is making its presence known. 9-1, still a pretty good record. Just didn't get the most important one at the end. But man, Lord Foss 3-0, 3-0 to end this top 8 bracket. Tony G took 2 games off him in that first round, but after that, it has just been smooth sailing. An impressive showing from this Rakan deck. Lots of flyers, lots of charge, lots of burn. That got the job done.
Yeah, and is there anything else you want to say before we hand it over to our production team?
No, nothing.
Oh, well, okay then.
Yeah.
So
Rakenner's not here yet because he's too busy not being here. But this was the field initially was what we expected. Is this what we expected in the top 8 though? We overcame the removal pile meta.
I think if once you look at the metagame, this is a reasonable conclusion to come to. So last week we saw a lot of FJS, or we saw FJS take the top 2 spots, and so we expected a lot. We saw a lot of FJS on ladder as well. We even saw the FJS charge deck with and revenge and things like that to sort of counter the mirror, and so we expected a lot of both of those decks and then counters to those decks. And the counters to those decks are mostly what we saw in the finals here. Combre taking it a step further and kind of countering some of the counters in the evasive flying decks. But ultimately, the bigger Rakano deck was just a little too much because it had that burn aspect to it.
Yeah, Shadow had been ruling the roost for quite a while now, and this top 8 really brought back time decks and Rakano based decks.
It really looks like Justice is the king here.
Whirling Duo is king. That if you're playing Whirling Duo,
when
you're in a good spot.
Like day 1 of set 3, I was like, all right, Unseen Commando, Whirling Duo. What's going on? Why is nobody talking about these cards?
Yeah,
when everyone was doing their top 10 cards of set 3. I'm like, well, what about Unseen Commando, guys? This card is
people do
broken.
top 10 lists? I missed.
Yeah, they did.
I
over on SPG, and I know some of the RNG people made like some lists. Yeah,
they're not you.
And I think I was the only person on SPG with Unseen Commando in their list. Let me tell you.
Well, he wasn't spoiled early, so it was kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah.
It's hard to see it coming, and
well, yeah.
Now you're not going to miss him,
huh?
Yeah, but it looks like Rakenner has wandered his way into the booth with us. How are you doing, Rakenner?
Good evening, Gabe and Sir Rhino. It's been a long day, but it's been a fun day. But yeah, so I'd like to congratulate both Lord Foz and Kang Breath for making it to the finals. And a special congratulations to Lord Foz for guaranteeing their place in the Season 1 Invitational, which is rapidly approaching. It is now just about a month away. Next, I would like to thank all of the players and all of the viewers. If it wasn't for all of you, we couldn't be doing this. Putting this tournament and stream on every week is fantastic. I would also like to thank Militool and Teehee, our producers. Without them, we could not be putting on this broadcast. And also a special thanks to our graphics and code contributors for making our jobs much easier. Specifically, Mengar for the deck image creation tool, Zenorath for making the new deck doc creator, and our video editor X Kirby for his weekly highlights and image contributions. Also, like to thank Counterbob for the series of deck techs we've been running in between rounds and spearheading our new tournament recap show, Best of 3. And I would also like to thank aReNGee himself. He is the founder of the site, the original tournament organizer, and the man responsible for a lot of behind-the-scenes administrative work, updating the invitational points and series points and so on and so forth. I'd also like to thank Zenarath again, who is our new tournament organizer. He's been helping me out most of today, and he's really been helping things run a lot more smoothly. He's also become the face of Team League administration for most of this season. And the ETS next week, he will be running as his first time running an ETS on his own. So go easy on him. Go easy on him, guys. And a huge thank you to our Twitch subs and Patreon backers. They make it possible for us to have nice prize pools at our events. None of this would be possible without you. Our $20 Patreon backers are Chuck Hurst, Andre Pokai, Seek Power Gaming, Frosty HS, Carell, Team Rankstar, David Anderson, and an honorary shout out to you and me and your best friend, aka Why Not, who has been the sub gift fairy in our channel for the last couple months. I think he's given out like 20 subs at this point, something crazy like that. And another special shout out to Aphelion and a Rhino, who both subbed today during the broadcast. And you can find our Patreon at www.patreon.com/RNGEternal. And finally, thank you to our casters, Sir Rhino and Gabe, aka Calimdir. Gabe, do you have anything you'd like to say?
Sure. I'd just like to say hi to everybody. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for having me. Thanks to Sir Rhino for casting with me and all the other casters when they do. I have a Twitter, and I am always on Discord and Reddit, and you guys can message me there. And, feel free to say hi if you run into me in game. I always love doing this. So keep supporting us, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you, Gabe. And what about you, Sir Rhino?
Yeah, it's always a pleasure casting in the booth. Joy, if you like my commentary, want to find out more, I do stream on Twitch. I try and stream every day. Been a little bit busy lately, but you can catch me Eastern time afternoons during most weekdays. And we draft, we play constructed, we complain about our good luck and our bad luck, and have a lot of fun. So you're always welcome to stop by. It's a great time. And of course, thank you all for letting me hang out in the booth and pretend I know what I'm talking about. Last as always.
Of course. All right. And we are wrapping up the show for today, I believe. But everyone remember out there, if you want to play in the ETS, it is free and open registration. Full registration details can be found at rngeternal.com/ETS and in the Eternal Discord server in the tournament info channel. I usually try to have the information for next week's event up by Sunday night at the latest. And a quick reminder of our upcoming broadcasts. Tomorrow we have the ETS Team League Season 2, and we're going into Week 7, the final week of the round robin. After next week, we will know who is going to be going into the top 8 playoffs. They will be single elimination playoffs. And that is where the prize pool comes into play. It goes from $25 for the bottom place finishers up through $100 for the winning team. But we will be broadcasting the Team Magical Christmas Band perspective of our final match on this channel tomorrow. And that is me, Bradykin, X Kirby, Loco Pojo, and Lights Out Ace. And it'll be on this channel tomorrow at, I believe, 2 p.m. It may be 4 p.m., but I'm pretty sure it's 2 p.m. Sorry, I didn't look that up just before this. And on Tuesday, we have Best of 3, our tournament recap show. It's being hosted by Counterbob, and joining him is me and aReNGee himself, and sometimes a guest interview. We discuss the results of the ETS, Team League, and any other tournaments that spring up. And of course, we have Lights Out Ace streaming on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights. He usually plays ladder, playing janky decks, brews, or anything that a sub requests of him, as he will play 5 games with any deck that a sub requests. All right, everyone. That's it for this week's show. Have a good night and enjoy the music on the way out.